Alright, today's video we're talking about John Meadows. Rest in peace, John Meadows. A lot of my viewers won't know who he is. John Meadows was many things. He was a father, he's a family man, a bodybuilder, a steroid user, a YouTuber, educator, trainer, coach, many things. Today we're just going to talk about his health situation, and my goal of this video is to put out some suggestions or some information or to create some discussion about, anything in life that happens. There's always lessons to learn from that. So hopefully we can learn from some mistakes John may have made. Now, there's a lot of questions already speculating on Reddit, etc. People say, you shouldn't use steroids. Steroids cause the death. And some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, some people are saying it could be genetic, some people are saying it could be dietary. Let's just do a little deep dive and just talk about some of these topics so people can have more awareness of what's going on out there in the world. So now a lot of YouTubers out there they call it the fitness industry, but it's really the aesthetics industry, and 99.9% of them use anabolic steroids. I've used them myself. I've distributed them. I've done a lot of extensive self-experiments with other people as well, dealing with athletes of various levels, professional, amateur, etc. Don't mention any names, that's just not my policy there, but I do have a fair bit of experience with anabolic steroids from my own usage and usage of people I've worked with, etc., friends, girls I've dated, blah, blah, blah. They're very common. They're very easy to get. They can be very dangerous. They can be very safe. I'm not saying you should do them. I'm just saying, I'm here to inform people of the truth, all right? 99.99% of YouTube influencers who look aesthetic because of their muscles are using anabolic steroids. Jeff Nippard, Athlete X, Greg Doucet, More Dates, More Plates, Virtue Physique. There's many out there. V-Shred, good or bad influences. These people are using anabolic steroids. Some of them say, yep, this is what I take, blah, blah, blah. They tell everything. Some people say, I'd never used steroids until this year. I got put on TRT, but in this picture where I look like I'm on trend, I'm natural. It's like, yeah, bullshit, Greg. But anyway, John Meadows was great, and he was transparent. All right, he said, this is what I do, take it or leave it. I'm a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders use steroids. All bodybuilders with impressive physiques, where you're like, wow, that looks really different. That's steroids, all right? You can put all the work in, all nutrition, etc., but if you don't take the extras, you will never ever look like you even do. Nobody will question your physique, if you're natural. They won't go, are you using steroids? People only question physiques that are enhanced with steroids. Now, not every guy goes out there and runs 2 grams of tren a week. Right? A lot of people think, that's achievable natural. A lot of people don't understand. People microdose tren. People use, 300, 400, 500 grams of test. Not everyone's running 2 or 3 or 7 grams of test a week, right? Not everyone wants to be a mass monster. A lot of guys want to fly under the radar and say, hey, man, I'm not even that big. I'm not even that big. I'm natural. It's just hard work and dedication. And I've been training for 15 years. And the virgins, the teenage boys, they buy it. They buy Coach Greg's anabolic cookbook thinking they can look like that, etc. They buy Athlete X's BCCAs, etc., thinking that they're going to look like that. So that's where John Meadows was great. All right, he was great, and he was transparent, saying, "This is what I do. This is bodybuilding. This is how it is." Now, did that steroids that John Meadows use? Some people say it was not just usage; it's abusage, like taking the bigger dosages of steroids is really unhealthy. Blood pressure, too much blood. Ferritin issues. That's definitely a possibility. We don't know. What we do know is that John did have some health issues beforehand. He had some issues with his colon. He had some issues with clotting, etc. So I'm just going to ask some questions here. We don't have all the story, but we can create a bit more of a picture by asking some questions and thinking about it. So the questions I ask is, if John ate a vegan diet. You're a vegan, you're biased. Just put all that out there. This is just a legitimate physiological question. I've been a vegan 20 years. But no bias here, or maybe a little bit of bias. But I genuinely ask, as a coach, as a trainer, even if I wasn't a vegan advocate, I would say, well, for me, it would make sense to eat a vegan diet, high carb, low fat vegan diet, or mostly of, if someone had any blood clotting issues, etc., or if they're taking enough steroids that's causing, erythrocytosis, which means, high red blood cell count, high hemoglobin count, I'm going to say, man, a low-fat diet, ideally vegan, is really going to help with keeping your blood thinner than it otherwise would be otherwise. So now, John apparently had, unfortunately, a pulmonary embolism. Some people are saying that is because of diet, too much fat in the diet, too much animal protein, causing acidity because it's amino acids. Same with plants. And amino acids is acid, can create issues with the endothelium cells, which can create clotting issues, which can carry on, cascade down there. That's all plausible possibilities. Some people even saying the clot shot, what's going around now with the Wu flu, people getting the clot shots and going to hospital with, pulmonary embolisms. We see Sage Canaday, who is a vegan runner, high-level vegan runner, going to hospital. This guy's got like a freaky VO2 max, freaky mutant level of cardio efficiency, otherwise perfectly healthy, does the clot shot, wham, bam, thank you, no ma'am, in hospital with a bilateral pulmonary embolism. Now, people saying, is it because of the clot shot? One can only speculate in today's social narrative, censored, shadow banned world. So I'm just putting it out there, people think before what you put in your body. All right, is this clot shot going to be okay? Is this piece of meat going to be okay? Is this all this oil going to increase my clotting factor 5 levels in my blood? The answer is potentially yes. So there's things out there. Just educate yourself. Don't follow narratives. Follow logic. Another thing as well we could ask about John and other people who have had heart issues is, not just pulmonary embolisms, but high ferritin levels from eating so much heme iron in the animal products. That heme iron is really, really, or much harder for your body to eliminate, or what should I say, balance out compared to the non-heme iron, which is found in plants. So for me, I would definitely recommend people out there, if you're going to eat meat, if you're going to do steroids, if you're worried about heart health, please, please, please check your ferritin levels. Please check your ferritin levels. And if your ferritin levels are quite high, then please, I would be staying away from iron supplements. I'd be staying away from animal products. I would be eating, a high carb, low fat vegan lifestyle until your ferritin levels go back down. Just saying, that's just my opinion based on the data and what I've seen personally. And it doesn't make sense. We know that iron's a free radical. It's very toxic to the heart. It's very toxic to the liver in excess amounts. So having less iron is better than too much iron. It just is. No one's debating that with any IQ points. So that's my questions there. We're talking about steroids. We're talking about nutrition. We're talking about various things going on here. I'm a performance oriented coach. Performance for me is the name of the game. Mental performance, physical performance, fitness performance, relationship performance, nutritional performance, lifestyle performance, sleep performance. I'm just performance driven. So for me, that's my mental focus. I always ask questions. How can we avoid certain mistakes? How can we improve things? How can we, avoid the pitfalls and enhance what we want to enhance? So there we go, people. And another thing is hydration as well. But I'd say John, being into bodybuilding, would be pretty up to date with, peeing clear every 2 or 3 hours, staying hydrated to keep the blood thinner as well. But it's it is, steroids are very, 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 very popular. They are just incredibly easy and cheap to get. Whenever you hear one of these fake natties out there, like Jeff Nippard, etc., say, "Oh, steroids are so expensive, I couldn't even afford them." These guys are raking in millions of dollars from their bogus programs that they claim is going to give you that steroid-looking physique. They just absolutely talking BS. Steroids are like $5, $10, $20, $30 a week for a basic test, debol, etc. It's it's crazy how cheap they are. It's I don't recommend doing them. I'm just saying. I'm just educating people here, the truth. Because if you see people out there training so hard, thinking they're going to get results because they're following some fake natty program like Athlete X. All these people out there just selling these BS programs to these kids and not telling them the truth. Hey, I wouldn't have this physique. You wouldn't subscribe to me unless I was using steroids. Okay, that's the truth. That's the truth. That is the truth. That is the literal truth. There you go, gang. Rest in peace, John Meadows. He got my thumbs up vote, not because of the diet. I disagree with his diet, but I did agree with his transparency on his usage of anabolic steroids. And by being transparent about it, you respect people, man. Like, if you say, hey, look, I use steroids, this is what I look like, this is what it takes, you respect people. Jeff Nippard, etc., saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, I'm clean, I'm just so dedicated, like those guys like Omar and all those, they're just those fake natty sociopaths saying, look at me, buy my program, I'm natural, athletics, etc. They have no respect for you. They absolutely have zero respect for you. They're lying to your face to take your money, and they're just laughing at how dumb you are, thinking that you think that they're cool. That's the reality. They're laughing at you of how dumb and gullible you are. And meanwhile, guys like John Meadows, who have the respect to say, hey, this is what the deal is, unfortunately, these guys check out early. So, anyways, stay healthy, people. Investigate benefits of a high-carb, low-fat vegan lifestyle for blood-thinning benefits. Stay hydrated. Keep your eye on your ferritin levels. And we'll see you next video. Rest in peace, John.